Morning. We begin with section B. For those who are accessing recording, we are discussing multiple choice questions. Ensure that you have studied or revised or having a 100% conceptual knowledge on the chapter. If you are directly coming to MCQ without having a conceptual knowledge, it will not work. So before going for this session 1, 2, 3 or 4, ensure that you have read what is section B, part 1, have a conceptual knowledge about mission, vision, goals, strategies, etc. Okay, then continue with this particular video. This is for those who are actually recording. Let us begin. Strategy is a broad term that is usually includes selection of overall objectives. Strategic analysis ordinarily excludes. Strategy does not include which one? The product mix scheduled to be maintained for this year. Then long-term business objective. What is going with long-term business objective? Where you want to travel? Mission statement. Mission tells the reason to be. The mission tells the reason to be. Next. All of the following are strategic planning process except Ketrika. What is exception? Departmental budgets are not part of which one? Strategic planning, that is part of your operational planning. Then, first in strategic planning. Structure of the organization is for operational budget and other things. First step in strategic planning. The overall objectives of the company will decide. Okay. The first step in which one? Objectives is the most important thing. Which will not be an example of strategic decision. Which will not be an example of strategic decision. Is it okay?
Yes.
Manufacturing process.
Lean production, that is a strategy. Going from one method to another method is a strategy. New geographical market is a strategy. New plant is a strategy. Deciding to cut administrative personnel, reduction in employees is not a strategy. That is not a strategic decision. Let me check. Correct. Then, which of the following is not a significant reason for planning in an organization? Which is not a significant reason for planning in an organization? That is not part of your planning. Tactical plan, which is not a characteristics of tactical plan. It covers time to time, 1 to 3 years, quantitative factors. Okay. The top management responsible for development of overall implementation. No. It is the CEOs and middle-level managers who are responsible. Ninth one. Purpose, scope, products. The management is providing first a foundation to establish purpose, scope of the products and markets that it serves. Is it short term or long term? Long term objectives. Certain places of planning process should be formalized by all of the following reasons except Ketrika. Exception Ketrika.
A, sir.
Formal plans can act as a constraint on decision making freedom of manufacturers and supervisors.
கன்ஸ்ட்ரக்டா இருக்கணுன்றதுக்காக போய் பண்ண மாட்டோம்.
Yes, we will not do this. Correct. 11th one. The goal of every company is to be profitable. Concerning management roles in attaining profitable growth, there are two opposite philosophies.
Market theory.
No.
Market theory.
Based on yes, market theory. Environmental events. Highest. Which is taken at the highest level of management. Strategic plan or long term plan? Organization that has complete knowledge over the industry variable will it will be more profitable than an average company in the industry. Correct. Then long-term positions are from which one? Strategic plans. Managers employed to attain one or more objective goals, etc. is called as what? A strategy to accomplish. Which is not true in describing a successful strategy.
B.
No. Which means seniors managers cannot escape, should not provide what? Escapism. In which of the following situations? Higher volume, okay. Products are differentiated, no, they will not have. Buyer has full information about suppliers and prices, yes. When profits of the buyers are high, no. Answer is 1 and 3. External factor to consider in the planning processes.
Mergers.
Yes. Two mergers of two competitors is an external factor that affects your demand of your products. Right. Internal strength and weaknesses as part of planning process. Which one of the following is most likely to be considered as internal variable of the company? Internal variable of the company. Yes. Culture is internal. Culture is internal. B. Correct. 20 per. Read 20. Distinctive competencies are high profitability may not be a distinctive competency. High profitability will result in excessive selling price. Sometimes it will not be a distinctive competency. Resources and capabilities are your distinctive competencies. Which one should not be included in? This is external. This is external. 21A, because it is external. The board of manufacturing company reviewing the proposal to merge with similar smaller company. listed several strategies that could occur.
Well, most likely to improve the competitiveness. Cost per
Revenue will not increase, production will increase, no. Production cost per unit may decrease by what? More than 15%. Management stock cut. To improve competitiveness, can you, just like that, revenue cannot be increased, production cannot be increased. If you reduce the cost, yes, the competency will increase. I hope it is correct. Yes, C. 23. Two factors that derive from a company's distinctive competencies are which?
Efficiency, quality.
Superior efficiency, quality, innovation, and what? Consumer responsiveness. 24. The concurrent action of basic competitive forces defined 5 forces model.
Strategy,
option A is
Competitive forces. No. Basic competitive forces as defined as Peter's 5 forces model. The first one is not there. Entry barrier is to do with your, is not the thing. The intensity of competition. The intensity of competition.
even the part of 5 forces.
5 forces, but basic competitive forces.
The threat of conference, the new products supplier. That's it.
Intensity. Concurrent action of basic competitive 5 force model is simple. You think about long term profitability and which one? Competitive intensity of the industry. Basic competitive forces. You Porter's 5 forces, which one of the following statement best describes this industry environment better? Yes, read. Supermarkets and grocery retailers are driving volume growth and undergoing consolidation in the large supermarket conglomerates. Of course, it is having a 60% market share. It will have a high profitability. It will have a high probability. Since the consolidation etc. takes place, it may decrease due to increasing power of its buyers. There are few barriers to entry. Competition is intense. Brand loyalty is not there. There are dominant buyers. Negative. No new entrants can enter easily. Competition is already intense. No brand loyalty with the customers. And of course, there are dominant buyers. The department could conclude that we cannot say industry is unprofitable, prices cannot be kept artificially high, new brand to gain bargaining power, that is not possible because there is no brand loyalty. Returns on investment might not be attractive for our shareholders, which is not one of the characteristics of profitability. R&D is nothing to do with your profitability. Next.
Internal factors, company strength and recent
This is part of which one?
Internal factors that affect the companies. One,
two,
two, three.
three,
Sir, one and three, sir.
no section for the
Might be particularly powerful in the bargaining ability in which are the following situations.
One and two, sir.
When products of the supplier is undifferentiated, when supplier's product is not an important component in the end product.
B,
Answer is
B,
yeah, 1 and 2 only. Short run, which one will not influence?
Customer value, sir.
Illa.
Customer
Innovation and research will not affect your earnings power in the short run. It will have an impact only in the long run. During the strategic planning process, which one of the following are external factors to be analyzed? Social culture,
health,
32.
bargaining power of company,
Bargaining power of, which one is it? Suppliers, but not competitors. We have survived, rivals have failed because our strategies are more effective than that of others. B, 34 power, which is not an external analysis.
company strength and
Strength and weaknesses are part of which one? Internal analysis.
innovation,
cost leadership, sir.
innovation,
Oh, not focus cost leadership.
option C, innovation,
Cost leadership, focused cost leadership இருக்கு, differentiation இருக்கு, but not which one? Innovation.
Cost leadership, focus cost leadership, differentiation.
focus, differentiation.
Focused differentiation.
Okay.
Which one of the following would be the source of competitive advantage? Global competitive advantage.
High production,
Large volume of production. Economies of scale. business level strategies include the following except get exception is asked.
Product attributes.
So,
Business level strategies. Exception. Capital, okay. How to improve product attributes. This is not a business level strategy. That is not a business level strategy. That is a product level. To avoid failure, a company must maintain a constant focus on the following. Except
Previous strategy.
don't bother about the previous strategy and strategic commitments. Which one of the following factors would encourage entry into an existing market? Yes. Subsidy given to the new investors by the government will make you to enter into the new market. Pushing the company so it can companies industry overall position so that okay, this is the strategy taken to position yourself is part of which one? The corporate level strategy. Milk vendor acquires dairy farms. It is which one? Horizontal or vertical? Horizontal is nothing but similar lines of business joining together. Vertical is nothing but supplier and of course buyer integrating, vertical integration.
sir, vertical
Vertical, yes.
horizontal, for example.
I'm a textile manufacturer, you're a textile manufacturer, we both join together. I'm a pharma producer, you're a pharma producer, we join. Contingency planning is a process which a company will undertake.
Prepare for future external.
Contingency planning. Preparing for future external events which cannot be predicted, Correct. Vertical integration strategy we asked.
One and two.
Production scheduling. Bargaining power with suppliers is not there. Economies of scale. That is increasing the production. That is not vertical integration. Ability to drive competitors out of the market. No. Only one.
Means the economies of scale possible.
That is only increasing your production. இருக்கிற production increase பண்றது. That is not part of your any vertical integration.
Differentiation. Unique to also industry. Broad mass market, but perceived as unique. Differentiation.
Unique, of course, to do with what? Differentiation. It is to do with differentiation.
Differentiation. Unique again.
This feature. We are offering this feature.
Focused வருமா வெறும் different.
Check பண்ணு. No other competitor in the marketplace offers this feature.
எல்லாரும் கொடுக்கறதுல ஒன்று பர்டிகுலரா டிஃபரெண்டா கொடுக்கறது வந்து focus.
No. No other competitor in the marketplace currently offers this feature. Differentiation. Cash cow possesses
High market.
and low growth. B.
Political, economical, social,
Best. Political, economical, social, and which one? Technological.
cash cow.
There is a good cash flow, but there is a slowing growth. So it is called as which one? Cash cow. Then 49th part. Primary reason that the organization should develop a contingency plan in IT operations. Contingency plan is to do when there is a disaster, you will be able to recover and run. You will be able to recover and run properly now. When the organization develops plans or plans to prepare for future of an unpredictable event is called as what? Contingency planning. Contingency planning. All goals and objectives upon which annual profit plan is there. Na? That is both qualitative and quantitative factors should be there. They've given, look at the question. Monthly budget as recently imposed from the top will create behavioral problems. This is a budget that is forced from the top management that can create certain behavioral problem. All of the following are the causes of such problem, exception கேட்டிருக்காங்க. Exception கேட்டிருக்காங்க. Actual budget variance கொடுத்துட்டாங்க. They compared, budget with which one? Actual. Fixed budget with actual they compared. Behavioral problem, எல்லாமே top management authority the behavioral problem. Lack of concentration, seasonality is a behavioral problem. Non-controllable costs such as depreciation, of course, may result in behavioral problem. Exception கேட்டிருக்காங்க. Exception is, this is not related to which one? Behavior. All of the following are traditional budget process except criticisms of the traditional budgeting process except
Incorporate non-financial.
traditional budgeting also, they include which one? Non-financial parameters. For coal concurrence, what is the greatest amount of motivation which the people will have? Divisional managers and senior management jointly should develop the goal and implement them so that the goal concurrence, people will work towards achievement of goal, which is not the reason, significant reason for planning in an organization. We are not there just to plan, to plan which one, monitor which one, profitable operations. Just that is not a reason. One approach of developing standard cost in corporate communication, bargaining, interaction, which approach is best characteristics as okay, from supervisor to whom the standards are developed, accountants and engineers before the standards are accepted by the top management. This team development approach. We include team of people in developing the budget. Read 57. Same equipment is used, which is available 60 hours in a month. Contribution is 95, 55. A requires 4 hours. Put 95 by 4, and 55 by 2.5.
23.758.
23.75. This is for B.
22.
22. It gives better contribution margin.
Marginal more than
சார் இதுதான் சார் ப்ராடக்ட் ஏ தான் சார் அதிகமாக
without the freezing.
ப்ராடக்ட் ஏ சார் ப்ராடக்ட் ஏ வந்து 1000
It cannot be B because it talks only about contribution margin of the product. It's not contribution margin per hour. B cannot be the answer. Why?
Unit per
Per unit தான் பேசுறாங்க. How better the equipment is used, we are not talking about. Develop budget by top management issue to the no, that will not result in cold concurrence. Study actual revenues and expenses of the previous period in detail. Yes, that will help you. Have the budget developed by operating units except, yeah, accept them. It will result in budget slacks. Share the budgets with all the employees and as a means to reach with company's goals. Yes, that is there. Use iterative budgeting process. Several rounds of changes initiated by operating units. Senior manager is correct. Answer is 2, 4 and which one? 5. B. A continuous profit plan.
monthly or
Plan for full-time planning staff 5 years. No? It is revised monthly or what? Quarterly. It's revised. Participatory budgeting would advantage in it. Participatory budgeting would advantage. Employees will accept the budget because you agree to the budget, then only it is implemented.
just
சார் ரோலிங் பட்ஜெட் தான் சார்
Continuous budget. No, it is not for environmental factors.
option is
A is the correct option. Why? It's available for future period from last to next like that we continue. Rolling budget கிடையாது. That is continuous budget. By adding a period, the period just has ended. No. This is adding the period as just ended கொடுத்திருக்கான். We are just going to adjust for actuals with the next one and the month. It is not a like next 3 months roll over பண்றது. The period is 6 months is ended. The budget can be prepared for next 3 months and next 6 months like that. Suboptimal decision is not likely to occur when When suboptimal decision making will not occur in it, will not occur in it. There is little concurrence now, then of course decision will not be optimal. Suboptimal decision means decision is not proper. So little concurrence, there is no concurrence amongst overall goals, etc. C should be the correct answer. Guidance is given to the unit managers about how standards and goals affect them. If you tell that, the suboptimal decision making will not occur, will not occur. Exceptions of top-down budgeting. The employees may not accept it. Employees may not what? Accept it. Budgets are necessary component of financial decision making. They help to provide an allocation of resources. You allocate your men or material or human resources, which is not cited as advantages of formal budgeting process. What is not an advantage of formal budgeting process? Cannot prevent which one? Inefficiencies that can occur because the other management may not understand or cooperate with the top level budgeting. Read it. D cannot be there. It's like they should remain fixed in கொடுத்திருக்கோம். No. Budget should be flexible. Department managers have most detailed knowledge about organizational operation. They should use what? Information as building blocks for operating budget. That is the correct answer. Which one of the following is most important for successful budget effort?
Not management.
Top management support.
Top management support. Evaluate performance, set limits to spending. Extra. They always provide a buffer. That is called as which one? Budget slack.
Flexible budgets.
Flexible.
Bottom up, flexible budgets. Correct.
Budgeting.
They maintain a slack, a buffer.
So then it will continuously go and
Okay. Correct. Read this. 6 months ago, she appointed a team for the production of civil department to finalize allocation of cost. Exception கேட்டிருக்காங்க. Exception கேட்டிருக்காங்க.
Management support.
Yes. The standards may not appear to lack which one? Management support. Yes. So they hired the external consulting firm. So standards may appear lack management support. Which is not a disadvantage. Question is which is not a disadvantage. There is an advantage, not a disadvantage. Sales budget is done, thereafter profit planning is done, then financial approval. So it goes from the bottom up approach. One of the primary advantages of budgeting is that profit estimates does not place management continuously adapted for changing circumstances. It requires departmental managers to make plans in conjunction with which one? Other interdepartmental managers. Ensure that when you make a plan for your department, okay, so you work with what? Other independent, interdependent departments. Which is not a significant reason, Ketu.
Profitable operation.
That is not only, that is not the main reason for which one? Budgeting. All the others, we consider future, controlling operations, yes, objectives of operations are correct. Major objective of budgeting is to B or D.
Evaluation.
That is a best description of objectives of budgeting. Freely.
Any difference of line of operation.
Responsibilities.
We don't define responsibility centers in budgeting. We just plan the operations, framework of performance evaluation and communication. It includes input from all the segments. Participative budget. A company uses participative budget. Underestimates the budgetary slack. Disadvantages of authoritative budget. Reduces time requirement for budgeting. It's an advantage. It's an exception. Not an advantage of which we cannot be controlled.
Unauthorized expense.
Unauthorized expenditures cannot be limited. Cannot be. Advantages. Advantages की exception. புரியல It cannot limit unauthorized expenditure. Unauthorized expenditure is unauthorized. Only authorized expenditure can be limited. If there is a budget slack, it will not allow you to allow the preparer no. They project actual expenses only.
Increase the profit.
Does not allow. See, when there is a budgetary slack, you cannot evaluate the real performance of your team or superiors, etc. So, the main of budgeting is done to have performance evaluation done. So, which talks about performance evaluation. If there is a slack, they will achieve. Okay, you cannot control their performance.
Sorry, overestimation of budgeted expenses.
D. Then 85.
D. Nothing can ensure the profit.
Ensure that the organization makes profit is an exception. Which of the following is not considered as benefit of participative budgeting? Top management need not worry. No. Participative budget, what is the advantage?
Do and force.
Advantages of having non-participative budget. Motivation will not increase, budget slack will reduce. It will be, the process will take less time. Answer is 2 and 4. Answer is 2 and 4.
Participation is coordination. Or it's like
Least likely to motivate people.
CC.
Authoritative budgets will not make the people to motivate. Failure to achieve demanding goals can be best minimized by
Caesar.
housing.
Slack இல்லாம பண்ண முடியாது.
அப்படின்னா ஏதான person. Where managers pursue objectives consistent with our set by what? Top management. So that they will work for what is required. Which one of the following best describes the role of top management in budgeting process? What the top management should do? Get involved. Okay, so budget process and communicate what goals. What will motivate the manager? What will motivate the budget managers? Bottom up budgeting. A controllable expense that can be altered, influenced. Whatever can be altered by you, we call it as what? A controllable expense. Quantitative terms like when you express, that is called as what? Budgeting. When compared with ideal standards, practical standards are ideal standard is not possible to achieve at all. Practical standards are possible to achieve. So, it's a motivating target for a manufacturing person. Practical standards serve as better motivating target for achieving them. So, 10 into 3.5 plus 10%, 10 into 12 into 0.5 plus 5%.
38.5 less
38.5, that is 10 into 3.5 plus 10%, 12 into 0.5 plus 5%, 6.3 total.
44.5. Well,
It is minus 5%, not plus 5%. It is 5.7.
option
Answer 44.2. A company's budgeting process of direct labor begins by determining an average wage rate for all its production employees when manufacturing one unit of production. Okay. Standard cost for direct labor, the wage rate. Determining budgeted standard cost is calculated. Specify what quantity you should manufacture, then based on that you work out the rate. In 1 hour, how many units you are expected to produce in a month, then work out the rate. What is the correct answer? For the upcoming budget, you should include what? 0.80. 0.80.
ஏன் சார் அந்த ஆப்ஷன் எடுக்கிறோம் ஆக்சுவலா?
Read it. We made in 0.75. The competitor takes 0.75. Actual results is 0.75. Standard of 0.8 measured unit can be established using engineering studies. So for our company, using the engineering studies, what is possible? 0.80 is possible. Always standards are based on engineering estimate.
லிங்க் யாருக்கும் ஷேர் பண்ணிட்டு பண்ணிட்டேன் சார்.
இல்ல. Okay, I'll do one thing. I'll stop it with this because class clear. Pakathu class clear. So we'll continue from question number 98 onwards in the next session. So we'll do in the next session from question number 98 onwards.